Shreem Brzee, 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 Shreem Brzee.
Hello, everyone. Let me working with a little technical issue. Here we go. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar or event that we have planned. Today, you are going to learn about how to activate your God money mindset. We'll be together for about 30 minutes. We will share with you what is your God money mindset? Do you already have it? And if not, how do you activate it? We'll also be sharing with you a short teaching and technique from Dr. Pillai. Then we will tell you a little bit about a 6-week program that we have planned for you, which starts on August 24th, but that there is a special session starting on August 17th. So we want to give you all the details about that. Today I have with me Beth Damaris, who is a longtime student of Dr. Pillai, a Shreem Brzee practitioner, and is very passionate about this topic. So I will turn it over to Beth to help us understand, first of all, what is a God money mindset?
Thank you, Lakshmi, Gina. This is a real blessing, actually, to be here and be able to guide or talk about this particular mindset. It's actually a mindset that you and everyone already has within you. It just needs activation. It is the moment by moment feeling of freedom around financial activities in our life. And if you spend the whole day like with the responsibility of creating money, it's weighing on your shoulders. If you're strategizing, and brainstorming throughout the day in order to get something to happen, if you feel that you're waiting for an opportunity, you're waiting for an event, you're waiting for somebody to call you back, or you're just waiting for an idea, then you're in the ego mind. And that is the opposite of the God mind, money, and the God money mindset. So it will create some money. Don't get me wrong. The ego mind will create some money, but limited money. And then there is the toll that it sort of takes on you. Conversely, the God money mindset is the mindset with the freedom of stress. It attracts opportunities. Problems will be solved creatively. It also doesn't mean that there'll be no problems, that you'll maybe come up with an idea and then do a little bit more digging on that idea and then find out it's not the right idea. See, that is actually a great blessing, because if you can sort of cut your losses and then move this space onto a time when you are able to come up with the best idea. So that is a God money mindset. God money mindset means you don't also have to wait for gaps, that things will happen automatically for you, and you'll be able to have ideas that will help you jump ahead. I wanted to do a really, really quick exercise for everyone. And I want you all to kind of feel in your gut, in your navel chakra, what these different aspects, these different emotions evoke in you. So if you think about money, right? You just be brutally honest. You're thinking about money. And then does that invoke a feeling of joy on a scale of 1 to 5? Does that invoke a feeling of happiness on a scale of 1 to 5? Does that invoke anxiety on a scale of 1 to 5? Or does that invoke stress from thinking about how you're actually going to create that money? Is that what it creates? So all of these emotions we hold in our navel chakra, the navel chakra is meant for, the gut is really the manifestation chakra. It is the chakra that our 3D realities come out of. So when we are in the God money mindset, we actually have all the positive emotions about money. And we're going to build that mindset. It doesn't always come overnight. And for those of you that it has, it's wonderful. But it's something that you build as you go along. Gina?
Thank you. So that helps us understand the difference between the ego mindset and how we work hard and strategize with our brain versus moving into a more intuitive, would you say, sense of how to manifest and bringing the energy of the unlimited God self into our mindset, correct? Oops, you're muted.
Yes. That's it.
Super. So then you already answered my next question, which is, how do we know if we already have it? Unless you want to add to that. Like,
yeah,
how do we know how much we already have of this God money mindset?
Sure. Everyone has operated from their God money mindset from one time or another. And because it's happened for everybody. All of us have received some financial gain, right? And it's either a little bit more money than you expected, or it came from a surprise source, or it's anything that has invoked around that. So we all have had these experiences in life. And what you create, really, it's your inner. Dr. Pillai gave a recent teaching just a couple of days ago, and he said that if you are positive all the time, which is sort of his definition of faith, this utter positivity. If you are totally positive, then this type of mindset will come and spring up before you. So the ideas will come, the ways to solve problems will come, the opportunities will come, and they will come in a way that's effortless. So like I said, you've all had this experience. So that is kind of that surprise is what we're engendering, this mindset, so that we get surprises every day.
Right. That makes sense. So we know it's part of us. It's innately part of us, and we want to now develop that. Right. So I want to experience more of this versus my logical mind that is entrapped in wanting to, get from here to there. So how would I do that?
Okay. So it's sort of like it is the development is like a building block. You don't, as you go through, if you're, used to Dr. Pillai's teachings, we do start with, certain methodologies, but it really is simple science and the blessings of a guru. Okay. So the science is you're born with it. You have this brain, right, that has this ability to think, to create manifestations, in fact, we're born to create, right? So we're always driven to create. The problem is what we do create, right? Sometimes we don't create the right reality. And that all comes from our thinking process. But thank God that the brain has neuroplasticity. And it also is very subtly able to be manipulated by sound frequencies, so that when you have certain pathways that go down a negative mindset, and that could be anything from fear to, a feeling like you're not worthy to, whatever it may be. Usually it's a feeling. So these neural pathways are developed like that. But there are certain sound frequencies that manipulate these pathways to go in another direction, so that the pathway goes more towards a more positive area in the brain. Dr. Pillai talks a lot about the neocortex, which is the newer part of the brain, which logic and reasoning and also doubt and skepticism. Skepticism comes from that area, that region of the brain. But there's another region, which is the midbrain, which is the intuitive mind. And we're mainly activating that part of the brain, that intuitive mind, so that ideas, opportunities, everything can happen really fast. That's a really fast area of the brain. And it sort of steers away from some of the other thoughts that will slow down our manifestations, or totally sabotage the manifestation. So this comes in a building block. And we're going to go through that a little bit in the program about how those building blocks are set up. It's also the grace of God. I mean, really, it's not all science. We need the grace to change. We need the grace to have that victory mindset where we're going to just say, hey, I've got the energy today to overcome what this thing is that's been limiting me. So that's how essentially those are the two aspects that come involved in creating a God money mindset.
Fantastic. So we have the ability to shift vibrationally, and then also the grace to be able to actually do the techniques that involve us to shift vibrationally, and both are needed in this activation process. So folks, feel free to be posting questions. We will get to them after the technique. So we want you to really understand, like, what is a God money mindset and how do you cultivate and create it? So Beth, did you want to answer any other questions, or do you want to go to the technique?
Let's go to the technique, because there might be some questions might be answered during the technique.
All right, that sounds good. All right, folks, so we are going to share a technique from Dr. Pillai, a short teaching, where he talks a little bit about how we can create matter and how the siddhas and yogis have done that. So bear with us one moment.
String theory. What is the string theory? The string theory says that you cannot really stop analyzing your the finest particles like the fermions, bosons, and muons as the ultimate particles. We are going to find particles which are finer than that. So you have to really go beyond that and understand something beyond the finest particles. What is that? They are vibrations. They are vibrations. That is what the string theory says. That's why it's called the string theory. When you strike a guitar, the vibrations start. And that is the theory that everybody thinks has a lot of hope to explain our origins, how matter is formed. The yogis knew it. They knew about the frequencies. They knew how you can change the frequencies through vibrations. And what is that vibration? Sound vibrations. And what is that? A mantra. A mantra is nothing but a sound vibration. And as you begin to use the vibration, then the whole body, mind, and the soul vibrate with it. There is one sound that I want to give it to you that will change your poverty vibrations. Poverty is also a vibration, just as prosperity is a vibration. But unfortunately, because of our conditioning, we have only inherited the poverty vibrations. And this is true of people living in even the wealthiest countries. Even in the wealthiest countries, as we know, not everybody is wealthy. Even the Occupy the Wall Street movement is only done here in the United States, we're the wealthiest country in the world. How many people are wealthy? Very few. So we need all of that knowledge to change the frequency of our brain. How do we do that? I'm going to teach you now. Close your eyes. Feel the entire brain. The neocortex, the big chunk of the brain, the top of the brain. The frontal lobe, the parietal lobe that follows it. Then the occipital lobe, which is at the back of the brain. And then the sides of the brain is called the temporal lobe, over the ears. Feel the entire brain. And remember the midbrain also that I showed you, that is right in the middle of the two hemispheres. And I'm going to give this vibration to you. Shreem. S-H-R-E-E-M. Shreem. 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 Fill the entire brain with the sound shreem, 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 shreem. You go on doing that, then the frequency will change from poverty, from mediocrity to prosperity and abundance. That's the secret. This is the yogic secret. Shreem, 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 Shreem. I can talk for hours together on how Shreem works, how the sibilant shh can affect your brain and what it means, but all that is not necessary. What is necessary is just use the sound. Now, relax and come back to yourself.
So we heard, excuse me, so we heard from Dr. Pillai on what a technique to shift out of our limited ego mindset into a God money mindset by infusing the brain with Shreem. And I understand there's many other techniques, right? Beth, just like you were saying, this is a building block. This is something that doesn't happen necessarily overnight, but that a process we continue to implement and use these techniques. Can you tell us a little bit more about how the course will then take us on this journey, going from more of that limited ego mindset into the God money mindset?
Sure. First, I wanted to just mention like why I'm excited about this program. And it's because it happened to me. Dr. Pillai, it has happened, but it happened recently. Dr. Pillai, of course, you all know, is all about not living a limited mindset, overcoming that limitation, living an unlimited mindset. It's everything he teaches. And particularly, he's been teaching about that recently. And he has what is called in Sanskrit his sankalpa. And his sankalpa is his strong intention for people. And his sankalpa has been for financial gains for the people who follow him. So he has been giving what I call sort of wisdom sankalpas. He's been giving phrases and things that ideas and thoughts that can help people overcome their consciousness of limitation, because we're not aware of it most of the time. We're just not aware of it, because this mind also controls what we're aware of and what we're not. So we do have blind spots. So we're going to first help us release our blind spots. So we're going to go through an exercise in the beginning, which helps us identify attitudes and beliefs, which are subtle. They're probably nothing you might have sort of this funny feeling inside you when something comes up around one of your attitudes or beliefs, but you don't necessarily clock it as a thought or a frequency or something that's even limiting you. But what we're going to do is we're going to release the attitudes and beliefs that we each have individually, personally, and so that we can kind of clear up the space in order to move into an activation of the God money mindset. So first, we just kind of clear up those deep beliefs, like I said, that are subtle. Then we're going to go into an activation technique. It's an initiation from Dr. Pillai that helps you activate the intuitive brain, the God money mindset. And you can't drive your car unless you start it, right? So that's what this initiation is. It's basically turning up. So you also are trained a bit on how you can find that area in your brain over and over again. So the initiation kind of puts a pin on it so that
Mhm.
you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's where it is. And you'll be doing that throughout the course. It won't just be like once, okay, I'm done. Now I'm going to move on to the next thing. That should be something you do often.
Right. And I just want to stop you right there because we interestingly got a question that you basically just answered. So I want to shout out to this person and reiterate. So this person is saying, I have faith in the process of manifestation, but for an impatient person like me, I need some trick or teaching to overcome the problem. And I feel like you did just address that in the first step as in terms of kind of clearing out those preconceived notions, things that we've had like in the past that haven't been able to manifest. And I have this, underlying belief system that's really holding me from, opening myself up to abundance and prosperity. And then, so I feel like that would address this person's. Do I have that right?
Yeah, 100%. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, great. And then the initiation as well. So now not only are we getting kind of clearing out the old, but then getting an initiation that helps activating the midbrain to kind of propel us further. And that extra, what this person said, trick or technique, is that extra energy from Dr. Pillai. An initiation from an enlightened master is such that like transforms us at a very deep level. So that's a big blessing, and that can help kind of jump over those constraints as well. So I'll let you go on to the next stages, but I just wanted to interject there. We're getting some good questions.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Gina, for jumping in on that. So the next step is kind of interesting because it's activating your vital force. So you, at this time, will have an idea or something you really want to work with while you're taking the course, right? It doesn't have to be an idea. It could be a goal. It could be an existing job. It could be your job. It could be a project you're already working on. It could be anything basically that has anything to do with finances. It could even be, releasing yourself from debt. So it's anything that has to do with that. So the next one is energizing your vital force. So it is a part of the brain, but it's really a part of your body. It is a little bit of what the question just came through about faith. So it's creating a vital force throughout the entire body and brain and mind that will propel yourself forward and give you the right energy. Now, that's not like a caffeine rush. What it is it's a kind of it's a resilience, it's a steadiness, it's a way to continually keep touching base with that God money mindset every time you think about your project, so that you have the vital force to continue and take your idea forward. So the energization gives you energy. It gives you the ability. Energy is something too that I touched on a little bit earlier about the victory mindset. If you don't have the energy to say, you know what, I'm not going to accept this. I'm going to change this idea I have, a belief I have, or this person came and told me this. I'm not going to accept that. I'm going to challenge that and get over it, because ultimately it's victory we're after. It's exceptional. It's that performance that we really, really want. And that's what we want out of this course. Should I go on, Gina, or?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So we're on number 4, yeah?
So, yeah. So, we're also going to, at that time, then kind of come back in. What's going to come up during this time is your identity. We all have identities. It's really difficult to be identity free, but it's when that identity is limiting you. It's when you're turning down opportunities because, you might say, so God's going to bring you opportunities, right? Things are going to come up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's when you're saying, oh, that's not me. I don't know that. I don't have the skill for that. It's going to take too much time, too much work, or something.
All
like
those frontal cortex questions and objections that come up once an opportunity is presented.
Doubt and skepticism, right? So actually, it was just about a week ago, Dr. Pillai said people's biggest problem is skepticism as an attitude, as a general attitude, right? So it's not like I'm skeptical about this. You're, if you've got some skepticism in you, then it's a lot of things that come up. You're skeptical, you doubt it.
Right.
So, we're going to be releasing that part of us that, that's sort of more, like you said, the negative cortex. And so that we can kind of go on and again, make space for this utter positivity, this space where God money mindset can take hold.
Great. Yeah, you're answering all the questions, which is great. So another person said, negativity. There's a lot of negativity in their life. There's negativity in the relationships that they have. So overcoming that would be this technique.
Right. And so finally, what we have is sort of a abundance. So after you've got that energy, then you really want to start seeing some action, right? You want to start seeing some manifestation, and putting that abundance there, making it come into 3D reality, and taking some action around that. And we'll work a lot with that in the course. What action is ego action, and what ego mind action? What action is, God money mindset action? And action is interesting because it's two-sided. I think we spend most of our time thinking about what action I can take in order to solve a problem. But we spend very little time thinking about what that outcome that we want is going to be. It's the effectual consciousness.
Right.
And if you shift your attitude to that aspect, and not, I'm going to brainstorm a solution, I'm going to have 50 ways I can, tackle this problem, and But if you start thinking, you know what, this is what I want it to be. This is what I want it to look like. This is what I want. This is the outcome I want. Then that is where we need to spend our time. So that's where we're going to be focusing on.
Fantastic. That's one of my favorite things because you are literally, and Dr. Pillai did a video about this months ago, you're literally fantasizing, right? And creating the scenario in your mind, body, spirit of having it already created, right? And then living inside of that. And it's a fine line between, recognizing the physical aspects of 3D, what's manifested so far versus what you're embodying to have manifest. So that sounds like a simple concept, but it's a lot of work, right? Every single day you're up against this Maya, this reality that we're looking at, and like, but that's not what I have in here. And so I'm glad that this is one of the steps in this process, because it does take support. It sounds simple, but it does take support for us to continually do that.
It's accepting the unreal is real.
Right.
In overcoming this consensus reality that Dr. Pillai often talks about. Recently, I had a question for him about that. I said, what is this consensus reality? What will it give you? And he said, mediocre. It will give you something that's mediocre, but that's not what we want. Right. So yeah, so it's getting beyond that. And then we're going to set it, basically lock it in. So lock in this mindset. And it's something that when I say lock it in, it really sounds more, like a cement piece or something, but it's not. Locking it in just means that you're kind of rounding off everything, and the ability to put all of these, put these building blocks in order, and be able to have the mindset at the outcome in order to manifest something. So locking it in means also that you can use it again. It's a repeat and rinse, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. So it's not that it's over and the course is over. You can go back and you can use this methodology to come, if you need a little fine tuning on your God money mindset, or you've got a problem, another problem that seems overwhelming, and you can go back and use the same methodology.
Right. And that's so useful, because we do courses and then sometimes we slide back, right? So inside of a course, you have so much support. You have regular classes, you have your community, you're doing, you're being active, and then afterwards it takes something to continue that. So we'll have that content, forever in the course, so people can go back and reference it and really keep that going. So thank you for explaining the 6 different steps. And I understand the program starts on August 24th, and that we have a special bonus session, which is happening on August 17th. So folks, if you're interested in this program, the session starts on the 17th, and Beth is going to tell us a little bit about that. And there's also an early enrollment gift of savings too. So if you look at the link below the video, then you'll see, I think it's up to $85, depending on which package you purchase, as in terms of a savings when you register by August 17th. So Beth, tell us a little more about this August 17th bonus session that folks can have if they register by then.
Right. So we're going to do goal setting. So we're going to go deep into goal setting, but from the GodMoney mindset. And what this entails is it's more the effectual consciousness. It's more, okay, what do I want? Now, goals, sometimes people have varied relationship with the word goal. But what we're going to do in the most positive light, and we're going to get into the authentic goal. I was recently on a coaching session with someone just yesterday, and she had a goal, and it did seem like a realistic goal. Like it was, about getting more clients in her business. And she said, I have all these, these are all the things I want to expand my business. I want this or that. And then she just, in the middle of the coaching session, she stopped and she said, oh my God, that's not my goal. That's not my authentic goal is I have to do, in this case, she wanted to get better at her English skills. She said, that is my goal, and the rest will follow through. And so that was such a revelation, because sometimes we have goals and they're not the right goals. So we're going to create goals from our God money mindset, goals that aren't going to be arduous to create, to fulfill. They're going to be ones that are easier to, and what I mean by easier, we're going to come up with the ways and means to make it effortless in order to come to that goal.
Perfect. That's so important, because I know Dr. Pillai has spoken about this a lot in the past in terms of, making sure that you can honestly conceive of it as well. And then what is it really? Is it something that you feel like you should be doing, or is it something that you really, your soul rejoices when you think about? And so actually finding that and honing in on that is super important for the result to actually spring forward. So that's fantastic. I have a couple questions. We'll get to them. One is a pretty general question, and we receive this all the time. I chant and I meditate and I don't see a result. So we'd like your response to that.
That is because exactly what we're addressing in this course. So I think on my last webinar, I was saying that, you can be like Shreem Brzee, I'm making money, Shreem Brzee, I'm making money, you can be doing all of this, but what are you doing at the other time? So life, we all have our karmas to go through, and some of us have deeper karmas in different areas than others. So it's really the thought patterns are still creating the limitation that you're facing. This is something that we're really going to go into, and this is actually our first step, is finding what is the triggers for those thought patterns that are creeping up outside of our meditations, outside of our chanting. And also when we chant, sometimes our mind wanders over into the negative space as well. So that you have to be so conscious of, and you have to be so clear, because as Dr. Pillai talked about the string theory, I know some of the video I think may have cut out, but the string theory is, it's the reality now. It's quantum mechanics. It's whatever we focus on, we become. We create through our thoughts and our energy what we're experiencing. And Dr. Pillai just a few days ago said, you should take full responsibility of everything in your life. Everything. You should say, it's me. And only when you do that are you able then to get into the area to sort of release the things that are causing it. So we're going to do
what
that.
A good reminder of that. Yeah. Right. Because that's what it ultimately comes down to. And that's how we receive the blessings. But oftentimes we get caught up in life. And that's just like everything you said. You could chant for a few minutes a day or even half hour a day. But then if the rest of your 23 hours is spent in a negative mindset, then your chanting is only chipping away at that, right?
And you may not be aware of that negative mindset. You may not be aware of those thoughts. They're so subtle. They Absolutely. Do. So they're their blind spots. We'll get to them.
Great. And so these techniques are going to help us become a little bit more aware of that and also help us throughout the day, correct? Yep. Excellent. All right, folks. So if there are any other questions, I think we inadvertently answered a lot that have been posted here. One more, and this is, again, something people have dealt with, but all the techniques are great. I believe in them. I have a negative person in my life, or I have a negative situation in my life that is having it really hard for me to overcome. What do you say to people with that question?
That is, yeah, and everyone's got it. And Dr. Pillai has said quite a bit on that, and that is, okay, there's two ways to look at it, right? If we do take responsibility for everything we've created in life, that's one thing, and that's true. But you got to kind of do that. The second thing is really, it's how you react to that. And that is you. That's your mind state. So the first thing you could do in order to change, okay, you can take responsibility, but that might take a little time to kind of come to grips with what it was that created the situation and how to rectify it. Most importantly, how to rectify it. I had a situation with my sister recently that was kind of getting really tense, and it had been like that for maybe about a week. And I thought, oh gosh, I don't want to do this. I don't want it like this. So I started, kind of taking care of her more, like talking to her about the things that she's interested in, and the things that were going to help her. And it kind of flipped the entire trajectory of that relationship. So I started taking more of an interest in how to help her. So it's really your mindset is what I'm saying. It's you just first change your reaction towards it, change your inner landscape. We're going to address that somewhat. And then taking responsibility for, okay, what did I do to create this? And how can I, most importantly, how can I change it?
Mm. So important. Thank you. Because we get that question a lot as well. Someone mentioned that they have they're looking for jobs, and after the first session, the job goes away. And we can apply this to a kind of bigger general situation. Can you answer how could this program help in situations like that? I have something I've been trying to work on. I'm getting to a certain place, but I'm really not able to take it over the edge. How could this program help?
I actually skipped that step when it's passion. So
there you go.
Right? We can drive things with our will, right? We can say, okay, I'm gonna get this thing. And then you get there, you get part of the way there. But unless you have the passion and the sustenance, the desire, and sometimes that's difficult for spiritual people. You get so immersed in the spirit and in meditating, like, oh, it's a bliss. I just want to stay here. And then it's sometimes these two parts of the brain don't work together, the left and the right. So it is a part of the course, and it is a part of, it's really desiring that for you in your life, desiring the outcome that it will bring you. And we do have an entire module dedicated on that.
Awesome. Okay, great. Yeah, I had that feeling too, like kind of like really identifying what you want. Maybe you don't want that particular job. Maybe your soul isn't vibrating with that particular job, or maybe that those negative thoughts are coming in, where as opposed to like really putting yourself inside of that having already happened, whatever negativity is kind of eating away at all the things we talked about today, folks. Answer all of your questions. Trust me, if we didn't answer them exactly, you just have to rewatch this, and everything is in here, from having faith to using the mantra, shifting your vibration, to using that fantasy meditation that Dr. Pillai has given us to be inside of that all day long, and offsetting negativity. So we're going to move on to the different components of the program. I'm going to quickly share my screen so that folks can see what it is we are talking about. And did I do it right? Yes, I did. Okay. Okay, so this is the program overview. We have 6 weeks immersion sessions with Beth Demers, your host here today. And she explained a bit about how the 6 weeks are going to go. Then we also have 6 weeks of daily Shreem Brzee goddess pujas, which will be done for you in India. That's part of one of the levels. 2 thought labs. Beth, can you tell us a little bit about these thought labs?
So the thought lab is, it's going to be a deep immersion into the contemplation of either an outcome you want to create or a problem that you're facing. And this has been something that Dr. Pillai, you were there too. He gave us this about 8 months ago. He said, you can actually solve anything in your life, whether it's a problem or something you want to create, if you just focus on it for a solid, 20 minutes and keep questioning the outcome. So what we're going to do is we're going to take people through a process where you're going to pick, each person's going to pick, and these are going to be smaller groups. So we wouldn't have any more than, let's say, 10 people in a group, because you need that, you're going deep. So you're going deep into a problem or something that you have, and we're going to take the steps in order to bring you through that, so that at the end you have the solution to what you're keeps coming up in your life.
Right.
So, and it could just be your mindset too. It doesn't have to be a single problem. It could be like, like one of the questions that came up, like I get into the first meeting or the first appointment, it goes well, and then after that it disappears. And it's like, you can actually get to the bottom of that.
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
the intention. Yeah.
And one of the things that struck me when Dr. Pillai talked about this during that meeting we had with him is he said, you will have exercises that will help the super thoughts rise. So we always have these limited, or he calls them stupid thoughts, that happen all the time. But when you go into this type of exercise, what he called a thought lab, you'll do experiments. And part of that will be to quiet the mind and allow the super thoughts to come to the surface. So now you have brilliant ideas, as opposed to, what the negative mind has been generating.
Right.
So,
I think he called thought mining. Right?
Yes.
Mining
right.
your thoughts. You're right. Yep.
Right. Okay, great. So we'll go back to our thing here. Okay, so we have the thought labs, and then we'll have personal coaching with Beth, and she will help you really dive into what it is you want to manifest and get one-on-one, create an action plan, give your feedback, and really have that personalized support. You'll also have the Millionaire Yoga program. This is, a 10-year-old program, but it is amazing content. And some of these techniques that will be used will be taken from that course. So as part of some of the packages, you'll have access to the entire course if you like it. And then a personalized finance-focused astrology reading. So a 30-minute or so astrology reading that hones in on where are your financial problems coming from in terms of which planet, and how can that be solved? And then some remedies will be given as an option for you to do if you want to participate in that. So everything that I just mentioned is inside of these different levels. So not everything's inside of all the levels. So I'll get to the basic after. The fundamentals is what we're talking about now. That's the 6 weeks of immersion sessions with Beth. You'll get 70% off Millionaire Yoga. You get that bonus, the early enrollment gift of the August 17th session, and you have a savings of whatever the difference is in this. I don't know the number, but you'll be paying $137 instead of $173 for the full payment. And you can also pay in payment plan. Then there's the premier option, and that includes the 6-week sessions. It includes the daily pujas for 6 weeks, 2 thought labs, and the astrology reading. And then you also get included in that Millionaire Yoga program. And that early enrollment also expires August 17th, and you'd be paying the $290 for that as opposed to $330. And then the personalized is everything we just mentioned in Premier, as well as 4 personal coaching sessions with Beth. And that one is $1190 as the early enrollment price. So as you can see, there's really great savings if you do enroll by the 17th. And of course, there are some payment plans if that makes it easier for you to take part in this course. Now I'll roll back to the basics. If all of these options are outside of your financial budget at the moment, there's what we're calling this program, basic program. And this is where Mohini had given a 3-part session, including new teachings from Dr. Pillai, techniques and mantras. And all of that can be found on the YouTube, totally free. But if you like it packaged into a course, as well as 1 live session, which I'll be hosting, then you can join this. This way you'll have everything that you need inside of the program, which would be that the mantras, the mantra loops, any meditations, techniques, all of that easily available to you. And that session will be, I believe, on the 20th of August. I don't remember exactly the date, but if you're interested, please enroll in all of these things, any of the options, by August 17th, so that you get the bonus session as well as the savings. And if there are any questions about that, do post questions in our chat for questions on the program. I don't see any yet. So yes, it does start on the 24th. So if you need extra time in enrolling, you do have it until that date. That's the first official start of the course. And then we have the bonus session on August 17th. So if you can't get to it, or if you want to do the payment plan, you can make your first payment by the 17th, and then you'll have access to that additional session as well as the savings. Someone mentioned, is it profitable to join the basics program? Yes, if you want all of that free content packaged in a way that you have access to it in a very easy to use type of way. We've also combined all the techniques from those 3 sessions into one succinct teaching that we will be doing together on our group session. I'll also be there to answer any questions, so we'll have a group experience as well as Q&A. And inside the course, you'll have all your audio downloads that you need to implement that the Manifesting Money with Your God Self program. What will the time of the sessions be? They will be at, I believe, 9 a.m. Pacific time on Wednesdays. And Beth, if she's still here, can confirm that for me. We'll also, the other question is, what time, how many days a week required? How much time to invest? There'll be one group session per week, and that'll be on Wednesdays. And I believe it's 9 a.m. Pacific time per week. And then the amount of time required, I'm going to, Beth, are you still here to answer that? Because I'm pretty sure.
Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, we're going to try and keep the sessions to an hour. They'll probably go an hour and 15 minutes, quite honestly, because we've got some really awesome content that we want everybody to get the deep immersion into both the scientific side and the spiritual side. So
perfect. Okay, good. And then further techniques when they do on their own, how much time do they need to commit to that?
So you should do the techniques that we have. They're not long techniques, but I would probably say it would probably be about 45 minutes in the day. It really depends on how quickly you want to see results.
Right.
If you do, it's really up to your own schedule. Sometimes it could be lighter, but it's really dependent on that.
Right. Perfect. Okay. I know you've got to run, so I'll do my best to answer any other questions. Thank you so much for being here and shedding light on this amazing program and your enthusiasm for it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And I hope I'll see most of you soon.
All right. Great. Thank you, Beth. All right, folks. So we'll hang out for a couple more minutes and answer any other questions that you may have. And if you don't have any other questions, we'll go ahead and wrap up. So a reminder that August 17th, the program starts, I believe it's 9 a.m. Pacific time. So you want to register by then in order to receive your extra session with Beth, as well as the savings. And I don't see any other questions. So I am going to go ahead and move us into, hold on one second. So I'm going to just wrap up. Okay, just checking our chat. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for being here. We are really excited about this program that Dr. Pillai has blessed and put forth and given Beth the empowerment to deliver to all of us. And it'll be a wonderful time. The sun moves into Leo next week, so it's a really great time to start something new. It's a wonderful time to be empowered, to initiate new projects, So starting and learning this will be a great opportunity. So August 17th is when the sun moves into Leo, and that's when we're starting this program. It's also Vishnupati, a very powerful day for kind of locking in some money mindset activities, which is perfect for the start of this program. So we wish you all amazing and immense Shreem Brzee blessings. We hope that this has been helpful to you. We hope that we also see you in the course. If you're not able to join the course, then you have these free techniques and teachings all right here on Shreem Brzee YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, all of the ways that we connect with you on Shreem Brzee channels, and many Shreem Brzee blessings. Keep in touch. If you have any additional questions, post them below or write to office@pillaicenter.com. Namaste.
Shreem Brzee, 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 Shreem